Hello, dumpsterinos and frugalistas. I was out here digging around in the garden and some people had asked for a garden update video. It's not an update because I haven't done any kind of garden video so far, so it's the beginning of the garden video. It's kind of a mess so far, but here we are. I'll show you what we're up to this year. So vis-a-vis the carriage house that is out back, ooh, hydrangeas. We have this little patch here, which is the first part of our strawberry farm that I started about, when did we move in here? 12 years ago, 13 years ago. These are the original, well, this is where I planted the original 12 strawberry plants, and then they have created their own little babies as they do each season, and they have spread, and I'll show you from the 12 that started here. All the other strawberries I have are from those. Then back there against the little shed, we have 4 blueberry bushes that aren't doing that well, and there really isn't enough sun back there. This is the little shed. Wait, ouch, let me step back. This is the little shed that I always think would be great to turn into a hen house, except we are not allowed to have chickens or any kind of farm animals or fowl in our town, because we live right in a town. Though I know somebody's got a rooster because I hear it crowing every now and then. And that wouldn't be us. Okay, so then over here, this is what, this is Frugal Daddy in the yard. This is, Wally, did you knock something over? Well, so this is what drives me insane. And if you think I'm ever like short-tempered or snippy with Frugal Daddy, or you just sense that I might want to kill him, yeah, okay. So back to my garden here. We've got potatoes. This whole section here is potatoes. So those are the, back there are the first ones I planted, and they're doing quite well. And then these are ones I planted later, and they're doing well. And then around the edges, I planted things, but not too much is coming up. I just keep putting down seeds, putting down seeds, putting down seeds. And then when something starts to grow, I stop putting the seeds down. So that's something, I don't know, maybe you all can tell me, because of course I didn't keep track. But around these edges of this path here, I put little things like carrots and lettuce, things that like a little more shade. I never have great, I never have great germination rates with my carrots. I've put down hundreds, but that's a carrot and that's a carrot. That's not, and you're not. Those are carrots, carrots. See, they have like that little lacy leaf. Ooh, look, that's a potato flower. They say when there's flowers above, there's potatoes beneath. I think we're gonna have a pretty good potato harvest here this year if I can keep the dogs from trampling the plants. And then over at the edge, I have more strawberries, right, Wally? Because eventually they will take over this whole patch. And see where Wally's sitting, and we have these strawberries here? That's where the brick wall used to be, right here. And I expanded it this year by bringing it out here. And then the same over here, I expanded this one, and I did this little doodad. That's a blackberry bush, and it was in a pot, but the roots were growing through the bottom of the pot. So I thought it's time to put you in the ground. So he got that area. And then this part of the garden, there's that canoe. It's full of water. All right, so right here where these potatoes are that were leftovers from last year, like I did not plant those this year. I planted them in the fall. The path went right here. So this whole section I've added, but a few days ago we had this major wind storm. It was like we were in a tornado, seriously. Like the wind, everything, the rain was blowing sideways, and we lost a lot of branches. So if you look at this maple tree, I don't know if you can tell, but the top of it is gone. And that giant branch was laying right across here in my garden. And I have planted a lot of seeds back there, squash, butternut squash, I don't know, other things, I forget what. None of those seeds have really come up yet anyway, so it wasn't like that huge a deal that this giant piece of tree fell into the garden because, you know, I mean, it didn't break a lot of stuff because there wasn't that much there anyway. That's a bunch of the tree over there that Daddy's cut up, and more of it over there. So, but anyway, in this patch of garden where we also are expanding strawberries, We have all these tomato plants, and these are, every single one of them, volunteers from last year, which is fine with me because I was, of course, late in getting seeds planted, as I always am. And we have some more strawberries down here along the side. So that's the view back to there. So we've got strawberries here, and then all these potatoes. Pretty much what I did last fall when I was harvesting potatoes here was like little tiny ones I just left behind. And I just thought, okay, you just stay there all winter. You grow in the spring. I'm planting you early. You'll be ready to go. And they came up beautifully. So then this whole section of the garden, here's Wally. Look at all this tree edge. There's a huge branch. Oh, there it is. There's that huge chunk of tree over there on the ground. Here's the grill Daddy's trying to fix. There's the canoe. This is the brick path I recently constructed, but the tree messed it all up. So anyway, I have seeds planted along all of here. And then look at this. This is a branch from the tree that is just stuck straight into the ground, and I can't get it out, but I have a shovel, I can dig it out. There were a few like that, but the other ones I was able to pull out. So pretty exciting stuff here. Potatoes, strawberries. We have a lot of tomatoes. Oh, what else? So what else have I planted here? I believe here we have some zucchini and summer squash. And then because I don't have the best germination rate on all my seeds, and some of my seeds are old, like I dumped a bunch here. You can see I did like a little roundy row, and then there was another one. And you can see where I must have dumped out a whole lot of seeds in one spot because there's a lot growing right up on top of each other. I think it's arugula. I can't remember, of course. It's some kind of salad green. I've planted a lot of seeds throughout here, so it'll be interesting to see what grows. I have pumpkin here and different kinds of squash and watermelons and beets and turnips and carrots and radishes. I have a lot of radishes, so who knows? We'll see. Then over here, this used to actually get more sun. There's a tremendous amount of shade here now, and this was my original garden. I used to grow tomatoes back here, all sorts of things, but there's too much shade back here now. Anyway, this is also an extension of the land of strawberries, but I also have all these really cool blackberry bushes, like this little structure here. See, that's our shed. That's how Frugal Daddy puts things away in the shed. Oh my God, he drives me insane. Anyway, that's all blackberry bush woven around there. And the cool thing about blackberries, they're a vining kind of a shrubbery. So if the one of the vines touches the ground, it will take root and then start you up another plant. Like this one, for example. Like this branch was from over there, and then, you know, once it starts to grow on its own, you sever it from the main plant. And I'm trying to just kind of get this to just kind of attach over there. Oh, my ring is caught on it now. All right. So anyway, blackberry. And then like that, this is another little blackberry. This is another. So they're spreading like crazy. Like all of a sudden, the blackberries really have taken off. And each flower grows into a little berry. Those are the centers of the flower that turn into the berry. And they're not black yet, but they're going to be. We have quite a few this year, so hopefully I'll harvest them in time and do something fun with them. That's a blackberry bush there. Then there's a blackberry over here and a blackberry back there. So finally we're getting somewhere with our blackberries. That's our compost heap back there. We don't have like any kind of special anything going. We just pile it there. But we've been piling it there for years. I mean, that thing should be like 40 feet high, and it composts, it breaks down. And I think I actually might have a couple of potato plants growing in the compost right now. Okay, so I'm also working on this path. Of course, you can't see how cute and adorable it is because there's a bunch of tree all over it. But I moved some of these flagstones, and then I moved other stones that we had painted in the past to just put in between the big flat stones, and it's going to be really cute and adorable, but all this mess is in the way right now. But I want some straight pieces of wood to line the path, like I have these branches there, branches, and then stones. And so we'll cut off, you know, all the extra little branches and have some nice straight pieces that I can continue to line my path with. Okay. So we have some more potatoes over here, right where the dogs are standing. I had a lot of potatoes planted here. I want to say 2 years ago, but they trample it. I don't have it sectioned off. Though there aren't too many here because these are also ones that are from last fall left over. But there are a few growing, and they're doing a pretty good job of making paths around the plants. I mean, they haven't broken them yet. So I figured they're growing. Like, I'm not going to pull them up. Just might as well let them grow and see what happens. So we have some potatoes over here. Look, there's my coffee mug from earlier when I was sitting by the pond. This is how Liesel visits the pond each day. This big old bucket has some of my little clippings and rootings. I'm trying to root hydrangeas again. I don't know if you remember that video from last year, but it worked out well. And I have a lot more hydrangea plants, and tricky to get them into the ground without the dogs crushing them, but I try to use tomato cages to separate them off. But anyway, so we have the little hydrangeas there, and then this bigger leafed thing right here is, I want to say, a peony from my peony bush. So then we have this little section, of course, which is a little tidier and more contained than it has been in past years. But over here we have, again, some strawberries. Every single strawberry from the original 12 I planted. Everybody's a baby or a descendant. And then in these pots, I have tomatoes and cucumbers. It's cucumber, strawberries. Now, again, I didn't have a lot of confidence in my germination rate. So you can see apparently I dumped a lot of tomato seeds in. But they seem to be doing pretty well. And so these other pots have some tomatoes. But, like, I mean, look. All these seeds going like crazy, right? But then you come back to this one, and I have, like, one growing. And you know, in a pot that size, I probably put, like, 400 seeds. So what's the deal? I don't know. But anyway, so those are tomatoes. And then these are the cucumber plants. And in this big pot right here in the middle, I had what I thought was, like, a whole huge strawberry farm going. But then I realized that it was actually wild strawberries, and they do not make the kind of strawberries I want for eating, so I had to get rid of them. But anyway, cucumbers, so that's good. Neve loves cucumbers, and Autumn loves tomatoes, so I always try to grow a lot of cucumbers and tomatoes. Over here, because they like a dappled sort of sunlight, not direct sunlight, I've got more of my little clippings going. That's a hydrangea. That thing right there, I want to say, is a blueberry bush, as is this stick that doesn't seem to be working. I got a few blueberry bushes. I'll show you where I planted them, but I didn't plant them quickly enough from when Frugal Daddy brought them home, so some of them died, and I was trying to get that to come back to life. I think that might be one of them too. And Frugal Daddy also took this tree down the other day. Yarg, okay. We have more of our little cuttings, our little snippings going. So you get new growth, not necessarily growth of the flower. There was no flower on that when I cut that. You use your rooting powder, and yeah, you just jam it there in your loose, wet soil. I mean, they're all supposed to be covered, like with that soda bottle, like a little terrarium, but I don't have enough terrariums. But they're doing really well. You can tell the ones that are doing well if you give it like a little tug, like, it's in there. It's rooting. Like, it's in there. It's growing. Little tug, like a little tug. And you can also tell there's new. But now, like this one, I mean, it's in there, but it doesn't look so healthy. That's a weed. You don't belong in there. My hydrangeas this year are just an amazing burst of color. And you know, the color of hydrangeas depends on the acidity of your soil. And I have a lot of hydrangeas this year that have been blue in the past, and some of them are blue now, and some of them are pink, some of them are purple. Like, I'm getting all different colors this year. Those ones, I don't know how they could look droopy because it rained so much the other night. Those two hanging plants also have strawberries and nasturtiums. But anyway, those ones stay pretty blue. But you gotta check this out. This is my little flower garden. But when we first moved in, we planted these blossoming cherry trees, and they, amazingly enough, have grown like crazy, and they also create shade. Look at these. These were blue last year, these hydrangeas. Look at them. They're pink, 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 pink. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, my God, I love them. I love you. And then we have this strip of garden. And again, we have some potatoes there from last year that little ones are left behind. hydrangea potatoes. Look at the purple of that hydrangea. Like, it's unreal. It's so gorge. I got some tiger lilies. I got this hydrangea. I doubt my filming does them justice because these hydrangeas are like amazing. Anyway, also I had a huge tomato plant here last year that had been a volunteer, and it just went all over this fence, and the tomatoes were everywhere. And there are lots of little volunteer tomatoes growing up here from that. And I'm just gonna let them do whatever. Like, go to the fence, find the sun, climb up this plant holder thing, like go to town, tomatoes, whatever you want to do. Then this little tree right here, and that little tree right there, which almost has come up by the roots. So I have to tie it back to the fence from the storm the other day. It's still in there, but it's leaning. I don't know if you can tell, but it's leaning. Anyway, it's mulberry. There are 2 mulberry trees. I used to go around town in the spring and pick mulberries. They had a huge mulberry tree over there at Catholic Charities, and a second one in the back. And then there were some mulberry trees down off to my left. I mean, like a long walk away. And then just this year, they've all cut down these mulberry trees. And I can't help but to take it personally. I mean, different entities cutting down their mulberry trees, but like, that was food, right? And at the kids' school, they had this apple tree. And of course, I used to go like grab an apple every now and then. They cut it down. Like, they're trying to starve me. They're trying to starve me out. But anyway, I've got my own mulberry trees going now. So there, and I'm going to keep them trimmed so they stay like mulberry bushes, so they don't get too high, because there's no point in having a 40-foot mulberry tree that I can't pick the berries off of. Anyway, look at this. Look at this pink. Now, this hydrangea and that one right there are like the lacy kind. Like, they don't make a big, beautiful flower like that. They make these kind of lacy ones, and I don't actually like them very much, and I don't really know why I planted them. And of course, they're the 2 hugest ones that are just absolutely like the healthiest. I mean, can you imagine if this massive hydrangea was just covered with giant pink puffball blooms? It'd be so much better. Anyway, that's our rhododendron. I planted that too. We need more of those. All right. Now, we do have a few potatoes along here. This little strip around the side of the house is really just like a little shrubbery spot, but I put things here because this spot gets a tremendous amount of sun in the afternoon. So I did plant that potato there. Then these are 2 of the new blueberry bushes. They're doing pretty well. This soil here is horrible. It's very sandy and it's very shallow. Have a little snack of grass we can throw up inside the house later. So I really need to amend the soil here. This is like one of my big plans, is to get this soil becoming really great and healthy. I have some strawberries over here. These are always the first ones to ripen every year because they're so sunny. All right, that's a little potato. That's blueberry. Potato. That's a little blueberry bush. You can see how I almost killed it, but it's got some life coming back. And that's a blueberry. And those are strawberries. Well, there you have it, Frugalises and Dumpsterinos. Some exciting gardening going on here in New Jersey. I think I want to say zone 7B. Or am I 7A? Now I can't remember. Anyway, how are your guys' gardens doing? Let me know what you're planting. I know people down south are probably harvesting stuff already. I really want to harvest my potatoes already, but as you can see, they really just started growing. So, I mean, it's June. What am I thinking? But I love harvesting. I love digging potatoes. Well, there's some flattering sunlight in my aged face. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's the garden update of the moment. That's just the beginning, and we will see what grows there. I hope lots of exciting things. I've done radishes before. Have I done beets and turnips? No, not that they actually grew, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see how all these root veggies grow. All right, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Cheers from the homestead. Cheers. Please like, subscribe, share. Blah, 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 blah. So we don't end up homeless living in your basement. Thank you very much. Because,